This Beyond Clean Articles on the Go feature is titled Back to School, an insider's guide to being a student and an A-plus sterile processing tech. Written by Hank Balch, founder and president of Beyond Clean. For countless sterile processing professionals across the globe, the coming of fall means one thing: heading back to school. Whether that's starting an associate's program for surgical technology, finishing off a bachelor's in nursing, or putting the finishing touches on a master in business, working, schooling, and dealing with life is always a delicate balance in the world of SPD. I started my own career in sterile processing as a frontline technician working second shift and finishing off graduate school in the mornings. I remember the days of squeezing chapters of my textbook into my 15-minute breaks and treasuring the few weekends that I didn't have to work so I could study instead. As I graduated and grew into a department leader, I ended up hiring a large number of students through my time as an SPD manager and director. I've seen many of these students balance school and work well, but I've also seen a good percentage of them fail, in more ways than one. So, before you get too buried in your books this semester, I wanted to share a few insights into what it takes to get this whole SPD plus school equation right. 1. Keep the main thing the main thing. First and foremost, you need to answer the question, what is taking priority for me in this season of life? If the answer to that is school, then you need to make sure you have a position and schedule that allows for you to attend your classes and have sufficient time to study. If your main focus is career growth, but you'd still like to finish school at some point, you'll want to keep yourself flexible so that you don't miss an opportunity to grow just because you're locked into a particular schedule for the semester. Whatever your focus, stick to it and don't let circumstances get you off track. 2. Read the syllabus. I'm not kidding. Regardless of whether you're part-time, full-time, or PRN employee in your CS department, you have a team who is depending on you to be there when you're supposed to be there. Particularly for students, this means you need to prepare far in advance of any midterms, finals, or major term papers you need to complete, and not use those as occasions to call off at the last minute or attempt to switch your shifts. I've been to college, for an entire decade actually, and I know the vast majority of your classes have amazing things called syllabi that map out an entire semester's worth of schedule in one fell swoop. Read it, and let your department leaders know at the beginning of the semester when you'll need off for certain testing-related events. 3. Creatively use your time at work. The majority of CS work requires absolute attention to detail and a fair amount of activity. This is not a job like library aide or security guard that you can sit at a desk and bring your school books to study on the clock. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't creatively utilize your time at work to continue growing as a student. If your department allows the use of personal audio devices, such as MP3 players, think about downloading your class lectures to listen to while you pull cases or put away sterile returns. If you're at a prep pack workstation for the evening, ask your leader if you can jot down a handful of key figures from your Western Civ class to memorize while you work, or quiz yourself with coworkers who have already taken the same course. Just make sure you never lose sight that you're ultimately there to care for patients, not prep for Algebra 2. 4. Take advantage of your learning skills. Now, I'll readily admit that just because someone is a student doesn't make them a good student, any more than standing in a garage makes someone a car. However, don't take for granted the learning skill set you have as a current student. Many SPD professionals have been out of school and inside the industry for decades now, and simple things like knowing the best way to study a certification textbook or prepare for an exam can feel overwhelming for them. If you work with folks like this, be willing to share your tips and tricks for consuming knowledge and being able to understand it enough to put it back out on a test. And when you have a semester break or vacation, jump into those SPD certification textbooks like the CRCST, CIS, CHL, and CER. You're already in school mode, why not get a few industry credentials while you're at it? 5. Think about keeping the door to SPD leadership open. And finally, even if you think you would never want to go into SPD leadership in a million years, think about keeping the door to that opportunity open as long as possible. Sterile processing is a true skill and trade across the globe. Any country that has a hospital has this profession or something like it. If you graduate with a liberal arts degree and end up working at Starbucks, You may wish you wouldn't have given up your experience and credentials you earned during your time as an SPD professional. When I first started in this industry, I had no intention of staying in it. 11 years and a handful of promotions later, I'm in love with battling dangerous microbial fire breathers and developing teams into weapons of mass microbial destruction. The same thing might even happen to you. As with any other goal in life, completing college is something countless folks have done before you, and many more will do after you. And many of us have also done it while working in our local SPD department. While becoming an A+ student and technician won't be easy, it's totally doable, and it's possible to do it excellently. Hopefully these tips will encourage you to stay the course, get the grade, and keep #FightingDirty wherever you go in life.